Stephanie Milky here, aka KetoMOM, or often called mom, sis, Steffi, daughter, wife, aunt, and friend. Just like many of you, I carry a lot of titles. My favorite title is mom. I should probably say wife, which takes a lot of my time. But let's be honest, if you want to do something and do it well, you will make the time for it. Commitment is hard because we find ourselves overcommitted, but when you practice prioritizing, you will find out what is actually important and what you can let go. With the KetoMOM podcast, you will learn together how to manage our time, commit to the most important things in life, and I will equip you with the tools you need to feel qualified each step of the way. My name is Stephanie Milky, and welcome to the KetoMOM Secrets podcast.
Hello, welcome to this morning's mindset. I am Steve Milky, and this is your lovely keto mom, Stephanie. And we're actually going to go over Chapter 1 of Eat That Frog.
All right, Steve already ate his frog this morning, which he's doing a great job at.
Did you eat yours?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. It's coming soon, though.
Tell us where you're tuning in from. We're just starting the book. We don't expect you to have the book. You can tune in and listen. It's a super short book. We're going to give you the basic concept of eating the frog. We did the introduction yesterday. Today is called Set the Table. And he quotes Napoleon Hill, which we think Napoleon Hill is incredible. If you've never read those two books, he wrote, what are the two books he wrote?
Think and Grow Rich and Outwitting the Devil.
So those books are incredible. We've gone through them on here before. Incredible books, but he says this: there's one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definition of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants and the burning desire to achieve it. So for the basic overview of this book, eating the frog is doing the one thing you're going to procrastinate and doing it very first in the day. So chapter 1 is going to help you set the table for your day. It's going to give you the basic, I think there's 7 tips or 7 steps to actually getting organized, which I think is super important. Because otherwise, you let your day control you. Fair enough? All right, so he says, before you determine your frog and get on with your job of eating it, you have to decide exactly what you want to achieve. It's your clarity in life. How did you decide, babe, to start running? Like, why is that the frog that you decided to eat?
Well, clarity is important.
Right.
And we learned this from the last book we went over. It's the who before the do.
Right.
And a lot of you who have been tuning in for a while, you realize that back last year, I made a decision to run a 15K Tough Mudder.
Right.
And some of you might be thinking, well, that's super easy. Some of you might be thinking,
like
I
me,
would
no way.
Never do that.
That's me.
And the reason why I did it is because the 5K, I knew that was completely achievable. So much so that even my daughters thought, he can't do that.
Right.
So clarity for me meant, all right, if I'm going to, and this is just my own little purpose statement I say to myself, but I say, my birthday's coming up in August, and now I'm not going to be 40 yet, but my wife's 40, and I want to be in the best shape of my life, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to be in the best shape of my life, for me, clarity means I have to do hard things.
Okay.
It means that I have to push myself beyond where I'm currently at in order to achieve something that's different than what my life looks like today.
That's good.
So for me, clarity meant I had to do something not just that I knew I could do, but a little bit more, a little bit above and beyond. And so a part of it was probably some inspiration, probably not positive inspiration, from my kids and my wife saying, oh, way to go, Dad, you just wasted $100. Way to go, Dad, you're not going to be able to do that. I mean, usually, how many of you get inspired by believing that you can do something because everybody else thinks you can't?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of when we moved down to Oklahoma. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. I went for a job interview, and she's like, she told the whole family, she said, don't worry,
I said,
we're going
never
down
move
for this trip.
because he's not going to get the job.
He's not going to get this.
Listen, I was a lot more negative back then. Not negative, but I didn't understand the power of your mindset.
And that's interesting.
And I don't even think I actually wanted to move.
13 years ago?
Well, I didn't want to move.
So I don't know if I even wanted the job or if I just wanted to prove Stephanie wrong that I could get it. So
and some
for
of
me,
you
that
might
was
be
clarity.
operating under that, right? I hope that there's people around. I do believe in my husband, and I said I was sorry when I told him he can't run the 5K, although I have been the one that has been pushing him to train.
True. Okay, so since
we work together.
So since I haven't set up the greatest table, I will say this: Stephanie is a huge advocate of seeing me succeed.
Right.
So she has been a huge
I have
encourager.
been saying, "Eat the frog, eat the frog.
She's been a
Go
huge
do the
encourager.
work."
And it's fascinating because if you would have asked us 3 months ago, like, Steve, what's your biggest challenge? I would have said it was sugar.
Yeah.
2 months ago, I would have said it was sugar.
Right.
A month and a half ago, guess what's happened? I have been delivered
Dominated
from sugar.
that. Right.
So my next thing is,
Oh, let me check the door.
hey, welcome to our house. We have
It's fine,
4
girls.
daughters.
We have 4 girls.
We have a very active
4
home.
dogs.
And we have 4 dogs.
A super fun home.
Yeah.
I love it. Here's what I love that he said. He said most people, a major reason why there's procrastination is because there's lack of motivation. Here's what I will say. A confused mind does nothing. A confused mind does nothing. So if you think I want to lose weight, or maybe you're here because you want better in your life, and yet you haven't done these steps that we're about to give you, a confused mind does nothing, and that's all you. So if you feel like you haven't taken action, you're not going after the goals that you want, you feel like you're stuck, I'm gonna say you're probably confused on even what to do, and therefore you're not taking action. The power of understanding and having clarity is you're going to then step into those simple steps. And so he says this, here's a rule for success. Think on paper. So we're gonna give you, I believe it's 7 steps to go through and get some more clarity.
I like this. Girls, are you listening? Because this is
great.
Solid material that will change your life.
All right, so if you're taking notes, which you should, because he says think on paper, which is super important.
Well, I was just going to say real clear, because on the last page, you had underlined something that said, be absolutely clear. Absolutely clear.
Yeah.
And so I think of SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time sensitive.
Right.
The reason why this 15K hits all of those notches for me is because it's very specific with lengthwise.
Right.
It's measurable because right now, like 2 miles is like, but
Yeah,
I can see
measure
how
it.
it goes. It's achievable. In my mind, it's achievable.
It is
Now the rest
achievable
of my
if you're
family
training.
now the realistic aspect of it, in December they were laughing, but in July they will be clapping.
Well, you also have,
and
that's
time
good.
sensitive,
And you
it's
have
because
a
it has a
destination.
date.
Right, you have clarity. You set a goal, you've got specific dates, you know what you need to do, you've got the clarity to do it. Now you have to eat the frog because that seems like the one thing you wanted to procrastinate on is running, and you're doing it in the mornings to be done.
What was fun, yesterday I was reading through some of the comments and they were like, all right, this has inspired me to clean out my closet.
Right.
Like everybody has a different frog. Steffi just got off the phone with her sister and the one thing she doesn't want to do is clean out
her closet.
Right?
I said, Britt, are you eating the frog this morning? And she says, my frog is my closet.
Hey, thanks, Allison. I like this shirt too. I like to think of these as party shirts. And in this house,
She
it's
likes to wear
always
party
a
clothes.
party.
I love it. All right, take
7
notes. Step number 1 says decide exactly what you want. What is it exactly what you want? I'm not going to read everything to you. I'm going to give you the steps. They're pretty easily understandable. I love what this, so Stephen Covey said this, if the ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step that we take is just us going to a wrong place faster. And so get clarity of where you're wanting to go, the goals you're wanting to go after. I want you to write this down. Step number 1, decide exactly what you want. You want to do step number 2?
Step number 2, write it down. I think so often we can think of certain things,
Right.
but there's something to writing it down on a piece of paper. And so basically what we're saying is write down that goal or that objective.
Right. And he says if you don't write it down, then you're just wishing, and wishing doesn't work.
Yep, that's good.
Okay, step number 3 is set a deadline on your goal. So we actually went through a book on here called Dream It, Pin It, Live It, which helps you have vision, helps you create a vision board, it helps you have specific deadlines. If you want to go watch that, you can go to KetoMomSecrets.com and click on mindfulness or book club, and you can scroll through and go through that book with us. But in general, you should have a date. So like he's eating the frog of running in the morning. The date that he's actually achieving the goal is, I think it's July 9th. Right?
Yes. It's on my dream board.
Yeah.
With a date, with a picture of a muddy shoe.
All
running
right.
through mud.
Step number 4 says make a list of everything that you can think of that you are going to have to do to achieve the goal. Everything that you can think of. So make a list of that.
You want to know what's interesting is when you start making that list, you're going to find out that it's really a lot easier than you think.
Right.
Most of the time we have this just running around in our head because the last one was like it's just a fantasy. But how often would you say you actually think things are worse than they actually are?
Right.
I don't
But when
know why.
you sit down we just don't take time to sit down. If you gave yourself 30 minutes and you sat down and you said, clarity, I want to lose 30 pounds. Here's all the things I know that I need to do, right? I need to move my body. I need to drink more water. I need to pack my lunch. Here's what you're going to do. Everything that you know that you need to do, which I know you know what you need to do. We just don't want to do it, right? But when you get very specific and you write it down, when do you want to lose it by? You're going to set a date. And then step number 5 is organize the list into a plan.
So basically putting it into a priority sequence.
Right.
Of most important to least important.
Right. So I would say, for example, if you needed to, like, the goal or the clarity is lose 30 pounds, but that's not the steps. So you're going to have to, do you need to pack your lunch every single morning? Like, what are the things you need to do to get you to where you want to go?
This is Stephanie's favorite part because she is a lady of action. It's
I am.
Taking action on
Step
your
number
plan
6.
immediately.
Step 6 is take action. Step 7 is resolve to do something every single day. I am a person of action. Steve is a person of vision. We work really well together because he has ideas and I'm like, let's do it right now. Something. Let's do something. I don't like to have an idea without an action plan.
Yeah, that's good.
So those are your 7 steps. Did we miss one?
Nope. Once you start moving, don't stop moving, keep going,
Right.
keep taking action. And it's okay, even like we teach this in our business, but we teach people to take messy action. Don't mess up good for perfect. I mean,
Right.
The reality is the frogs that you're eating, the goals and the tasks that you're going after, they're important to you.
Right.
They're important to you. So today's the day to take some messy action. And if you didn't, go back to the very beginning. You can watch this again, but write it down. Get out that piece of paper, or worst case scenario, get out your phone and
Right.
just go to the notepad, or send your spouse or your friend or your accountability person a message and say, here's my frogs. Or comment down below. Put what frog is that you're, because we would love to help you.
What frog are
as
you gonna
well.
eat?
What frogs are you going to eat?
I love to memorize little quotes because it helps me throughout the day. So I would say things like, hey, a confused mind does nothing. So when you're sitting down and you're confused, it will remind you. Steve just said, don't mess up good for perfect, right? When you're trying to make everything seem perfect and you're not going to take action because it's not perfect, you go, oh, I need to take action no matter what, messy action. Or guess what? The only way you fail is if you quit. If you have that awareness and understanding of, oh, I didn't fail because I messed up. I will fail if I don't get back up. So if you can remember those things, if you need Post-it notes, write them down and put them on your mirror or in your kitchen, put them around your home so that it can get into you, so that when you have that moment of doubt and you have that moment of laziness or that self-defeating your own mindset, like you can remember those little phrases to get your booty up and to keep going.
So today's the day to get your booty up and keep going.
And go eat that frog. Thanks for tuning in. Your presence matters. Reach out with any questions and we'll see you later. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.